Hi everyone, my name is Blair and this is the Blair Book Project. Today I'm going to be unhauling some books, and I'm going to be doing it in a little bit of a controversial way because I'm going to be doing Marie Kondo's tidying up method. It's been a huge hit on Netflix and it has been a huge controversy on Twitter between book lovers. Some people love this idea, some people hate this idea, and I'm going to see if this idea works for me. I'm going to go through all of my books and see if they bring me joy, and if they do, then I will keep them, and if they don't, I'm going to unhaul them and either donate them to my local library or sell them to a bookstore, a used bookstore.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
Hey everyone, this is VoiceOver Blair for a second. I filmed this video in January, and I actually filmed this before I had the idea to promote Black artists for the month of February. So I didn't have anything prepared for this video for Black artists because I was planning to post this in January, but life got in the way and it got pushed back until February because I had a more important video that needed to get out before February started. Which was my TBR for the month. So I just want to take a second and promote some of my favorite booktubers that are Black that I think that you should follow if you don't already. My first one is my friend Mahalia over at Nerd It This Way. She is hilarious. She's getting her master's degree and she is an aspiring author. I love her channel, and she's always sending me really cool mangas and videos of fitness because she's really into fitness too. So I think she is a great person to check out. The next booktuber that I am going to promote in this video is Princess. I love her videos. I love her sass, and I really enjoy watching her videos and talking with her, and we actually have some similar taste in books, so that's really cool to see her opinions on the books that she reads. And the last booktuber that I want to promote this month is, or in this video at least, is Allana from the Awkward Book Nerd. She is just so sweet and so genuine in her videos. We met in a group chat and she's always so nice. I don't think she's ever said a mean word. And I just love watching her videos because she's just like a little ray of sunshine. So I think that you should check out her video or her channel as well. That's going to do it for the shout outs for this video, and I will pass you back to past Blair talking about books that she's going to get rid of. Bye. So you've probably seen these bookshelves in my videos. They are my bookshelves. I actually have some boxes down there, some blankets, and a suitcase that is just purely for decoration. And then up at top, what you don't see in any of my videos is I have books up there and just like a bunch of other pictures and things. On top of that, I also have this cart. Hi, Jackie. I have this cart full of books. I don't actually know how many books that I own, but I know that it's too many because I had to buy this extra cart, and I have no room to put new books because that cart is full. So we're gonna go through some books now. This is really all of my books. I went through my room and made sure I grabbed all of them. So I'm just gonna like do what Marie Kondo does and just tap them all awake. Tap, 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 tap. Okay, and I'm just gonna go through and see if the book sparks joy, and if it doesn't, then I'm going to unhaul it. Can you see me? Am I out of frame? I'm gonna sit. If I'm going to unhaul it, I'm going to put it in this chair here, and if I'm going to keep it, then it'll be in a pile over there that you won't be able to see, but it'll be there. I'm going to start with these ones closest to me. Tim Gunn's Golden Rules, Life's Little Lessons for Making It Work. This one sparks immense amounts of joy for me. I decided I wanted to be a fashion designer from watching Project Runway, and I love Tim Gunn, so I'm definitely keeping this book. And I actually have another one of his books in here somewhere, but I'm not sure where it is. But I'm definitely keeping this one. This is another one that I think I'm gonna keep. Marie Kondo says that if you are unsure, then you should keep it. I actually won this in a giveaway. It's an uncorrected proof, and it's not for sale, so I don't know if you can actually even sell it at a resale shop. But it is called The Stylist, and it's another one of those things where it's about my profession, so I want to keep it. This is probably the first one that doesn't spark joy. Do extraordinary things with ordinary household products. I'm never going to read this. It just doesn't sound interesting to me, so I'm going to thank it for what it meant to me in the time, and then I'm going to unhaul it. Thank you very much. I hope that you make someone else very happy. Probably no one else cares about. It is a design book, and it's actually not mine. It was my friend's, and it was hers in college. And I have enough of my own fashion design books that I've actually read that were helpful for me that I don't think I'm going to keep this one. This one is a little bit older and out of date compared to the books that I have. One I'm not fully ready to get rid of yet. I started to read it, but the main character is a little racist, and I was having a hard time figuring out if it was just how the main character was written or if actually the author is racist. So I want to do a little bit more research before I get rid of it, because the racism is actually pretty fitting for his character, even if it's like racism. So we're gonna hold on to this one for a while. It is called An Arsonist Guide to Writer's Home in New England, which is what I bought this book for because the title sounds hilarious. So I have a series of unfortunate events, The Reptile Room. This is the only one of the however many books there are that I have, and I just finished the Netflix series, and I'd actually never read these books when I was a kid. I think I read this one, and that was it. So I don't have an emotional attachment to this book. Ari from RK Gold, I know you're reading the whole series. If you don't have it, I can send this to you. Let me know. One I know that I want to keep. It is Edgar Allan Poe, Complete Tales and Poems. I love Edgar Allan Poe. I'm a huge fan of his work, and I definitely want to keep this. I have my complete set of Harry Potter, which I don't even know why I pulled off the shelf because I'm definitely keeping these. These are my husband's copies of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows and Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. For some reason, these are the only two that he owns, and he's never read them, but I'm not getting rid of them because they're not mine to get rid of. Not getting rid of as many as I thought I would get rid of. Like, honestly, I thought I would be getting rid of more. So far, it's 5. But we're getting there. We still have all of this. So I have the whole Hunger Games series right here. I remember really, really loving them when I was younger, but I am just not, they just don't bring that joy to me anymore. So I'm gonna unhaul these. To be honest, that was the first set of books that made me sad to unhaul. Not because I want to keep them, but just because I do have such fond memories of reading them. But I don't want to hold on to books just because I enjoyed reading them if I'm never going to read them again. I want to save space on my bookshelves for books that I'm going to read. So I'm okay getting rid of them. I have Stephen King's Dreamcatcher, Stephen King's Eye of the Dragon, and Stephen King Mr. Mercedes. I'm definitely keeping all three of these. These next two books I'm definitely keeping because they're Agatha Christie, and I love Agatha Christie novels. So these actually were all in my bedroom, which means I'm currently reading them, or I was reading them and then I put them aside. Currently reading Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and Final Girls. Lord of the Flies is actually not mine, it's my husband's, but I was reading it and I put it aside because I wanted to read Evelyn Hugo and Final Girls. When Breath Becomes Air is one that I started to cry, and so I had to put it away, but I definitely want to keep reading it. The Mermaid and Mrs. Hancock is actually written pretty beautifully, but the vocabulary is a little bit more advanced than what I'm typically used to reading, so it's a harder book to get through. So I'm definitely gonna want to keep reading it. I just won't be able to do it before bed when my brain is like tired and can't comprehend the fancy British words that are in here. There's so many books. I have so many books. I don't even have the same amount of books that like some of the bigger booktubers have with their like wall of bookshelves. I can't imagine them going through their books and then like trying to decide which ones bring them joy, because I'm exhausted already. Like emotionally, I am exhausted because some of these books are, you know, they have meaning to me, but I'm never gonna read them again, or they don't have meaning to me, but I haven't read them yet, so I don't want to get rid of them. It's gonna be a hard time going through the rest of these. I think I'm gonna go through ones that are, you know, easy yes or no's for me, and then I'll tackle some more. So like Educated, I'm definitely keeping this book. I loved it. I'm not getting rid of it. Frankenstein, one of my favorite books of all time, keeping it. Life of Pi, another one of my favorites. I'm keeping it. It's a beautiful copy. It's got like an embossed tiger on the front, and then the pages are silver on the edges. So I'm definitely keeping this one. Enchantment, the story of Audrey Hepburn. I'm keeping this. I love Audrey Hepburn and I want to read this book. It's so cute. I'm keeping this. This is one that I definitely want to keep. This was one of my dad's favorite books, and it is The River God, a novel of ancient Egypt. And it's really funny because my husband is from Egypt. So I want to keep this and read it and hopefully like it as much as my dad did. This was a gift from my husband when I first discovered the Hamilton musical, and I'm actually about halfway through this book. So, and I put it down for a really long time, and I want to pick it back up again, probably this year actually, because I'm really trying to go see Hamilton when it comes to Dallas, and so this would be a good time to see that. Some more that I'm definitely keeping. Lilac Girls, Homecoming, A Man Called Ove, The Brief and Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde, 100 Years of Solitude. I'm keeping all of these. So these next 3 books I'm 100% keeping, and I'm going to tell you why. This is my signed copy of The Broken Girls. I won this in a giveaway from the author, Simone St. James, and she was so sweet and talked to me for a little bit. And I just loved this book. It was so good, and I can't imagine getting rid of this book. It brings me so much joy. The next one is The Savior's Champion. I started reading it last year, and then I put it aside because I decided I wanted to read it a little bit closer to when The Savior's Sister is released. So I have it here, and I am in love with it, and I'm definitely keeping it. The next one is Neil Gaiman's The Graveyard Book. I loved this book. I'm keeping it. This is a difficult one for me because I have the signed copy, so I don't need the Book of the Month copy, but I did love this book. So what I think I'm gonna do is give this one to my mom because she likes to read thrillers too, and I think that she would enjoy reading this one. Like hell, I'm getting rid of this book. Like hell. So this one I'm having trouble with because it is signed by the author. I met Colleen Hoover at a book signing, and I read this book, and I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I hated the characters, but bad characters does not necessarily make it a bad book. It just means that your characters were too flawed for me to root for. So I don't see myself reading this again, and it bums me out because it's signed to me, so I feel kind of bad getting rid of it, but I just didn't love it enough to want to keep it. So I'm gonna donate this or resell it. These next 2 books were gifts from fellow booktubers. This one was from Anna Francesca. It's Coraline by Neil Gaiman. And then this one was a gift from Nicole from A Beautiful Chaos of Books. And it is Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. And I'm 1000% keeping both of these. Okay, we have 3 stacks left, and I just want to say, if you're still watching, thank you. I know this has been a long video, so this is kind of a Where's Waldo type of situation, but it's Where's Carl, like Karl Lagerfeld. And it's actually just like a little fun book. So I kind of want to keep it because it's fun. And I actually have fun trying to find Carl. So I'm going to keep this one. Here I have the rest of my Stephen King books. If I ever unhaul all my Stephen King books, you will know that someone has taken over my body, and it is not me. I am the outsider, which I actually don't have a physical copy of that book, so that's kind of a bummer. To the bookstore! No, that's the whole opposite point of what this video is about. I'm not going to the bookstore. But if I ever unhaul my Stephen King books, the outsider has taken over my body, and you need to kill it. So I'm keeping these books. Okay, this is another one of my fashion design books. This is actually one of my textbooks from college. It's called Beyond Design, the Synergy of Apparel Production and Development. And I actually really find this book very interesting. So I'm going to keep this one. The fashion of film, how cinema has inspired fashion. And it is very interesting. So like here's, you know, Bollywood fashion that has inspired, you know, regular runway fashion. There's some more movies. This is from Dior. So I'm gonna keep this book. I'm gonna probably read this soon, actually. Dr. Zhivago. Guys, and look, it's Twiggy. Okay, I'm keeping this. My husband got me the Six of Crows duology for Christmas. I would be a dum-dum to get rid of it. He would probably be so angry at me, and also I would be angry at myself because I really want to read these books. So I'm keeping them. Master of Us All, Balenciaga. I got this one for myself for my birthday. We went to the Balenciaga exhibit at the Museum of Modern Art in Fort Worth, Texas, and I can't wait to read more about his life. He did like 0 interviews while he was alive, so not a whole lot is known about Balenciaga, and I want to read about him and learn, so I'm going to keep this book. Labyrinth Lost. I'm not going to continue on with this series. I didn't like this book enough to continue on with this series. Even though this book is really pretty, I just don't feel any joy when I look at this book. I feel quite honestly disappointed because I was really excited to read this book and I didn't care for it. So we are going to unhaul this book. I have Funny Bones. I thought this book was really cute. It was pretty interesting, and since I love to draw calaveras, I'm going to keep this book because drawing skeletons is something that I really enjoy doing. So why not keep this book that is all about drawing skeletons? So I'm gonna keep it. The end is in sight, people. Look at this tiny stack of books. It's so small. I love it. Oh my god, guys, I am getting so tired. I apologize for the like dramatic drop in energy, but I am just like ready to stop looking at books for the day. Like I don't even want to like edit this. Like I'm so sick of looking at books. And honestly, I'm kind of annoyed that I had to take all these books off the shelf. I feel like this could have been achieved by the shelf as well, because now I'm gonna have to put them all back on the shelf, and I don't remember which order they went in. The Visionist. I'm keeping it. It brings me joy. I haven't read it yet. I'm gonna keep it. The Woman in Cabin 10. I actually really enjoyed this book, so I'm gonna keep this book. The Girl on the Train. I haven't read it yet, so we're gonna keep it. And the last two books that I have here are Cuckoo's Calling and Career of Evil by Robert Galbraith, which is not that person. It is actually J.K. Rowling, and these are books that I haven't read yet that I want to get to, so I'm gonna keep them. I'm not the type of person to spend a ton of money on things. I am frugal. I shop sales. Like, I don't spend a whole lot of money on stuff. But looking through this pile and seeing how many of the books that I own that I haven't read is pretty depressing. And it just reaffirms the fact that I want to continue this book buying ban. It is almost the end of January. It's January 20th. And I haven't bought a single book yet. I'm going to have no book haul for January. I'm going to have a book unhaul, but I'm not going to have a book haul. Because, I mean, you just saw it. You just saw this mountain of books where, like, pretty much like 70% of them I hadn't read. So, that being said, I do not like going through my things and deciding whether or not to get rid of them. What did help was, if they brought me joy, should I keep them? I typically will hold on to things simply because I feel guilty for getting rid of them. I bought this book, I haven't read it yet, even though it doesn't sound interesting to me. I feel guilty getting rid of it. I don't want to get rid of it. Like, that happened a couple times with the book. Like, for example, The Hazelwood. It's a beautiful book on the outside. On the inside, there's not a whole lot of substance. At least, like, what I had read, I didn't enjoy it. But for some reason, I want to try again because I feel guilty getting rid of it. And I shouldn't feel guilty getting rid of books that I'm not interested in reading. I guess what I'm saying is, you shouldn't feel guilty for getting rid of books that you're not going to read or that you didn't like. Just because you bought them doesn't mean you owe them. You own them, but you don't owe them. They are inanimate objects. If you hold on to them, even though they don't make you happy or you're never going to read them, they own you. And that's not a way to live. You don't want your possessions to own you. I recently moved to this apartment, and it was a downsize from my last apartment because my husband was living with me in my old apartment. He's not living with me here. He's actually not even in the country. He's away for school. So I downsized so that I could afford to live on my own. And moving all of this stuff into this apartment, I realized I had a lot of stuff that I didn't even use anymore. And at that point, my stuff was controlling me because it was making me, because I had all of it, making me carry it up 3 flights of stairs to get to my apartment and find a space for it. And then I'm overcrowded in here and I'm not happy. So I don't want to continue to live like that. I don't want to have an excess of things that don't bring me joy. These are all the books that I'm getting rid of. I probably went through at least 200 books. And I'm getting rid of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I'm getting rid of 1/10 of the books that I own. That doesn't seem like a lot. But here's why it is. For the longest time, these books inhabited a space on my bookshelf that could have been held by other books that made me happy, that I didn't buy because I didn't have the space for them. Or they could have been on someone else's bookshelf, making someone else happy because they were something that would have been important to them. that weren't important to me. So these books have basically been in limbo. I have been overcrowded, and neither one of us has been happy. So I want to take a moment, and thank all of these books for the joy they brought me when they did bring me joy. And I want to take a moment and wish them well on their journey and hope that they find someone else that will make them happy and that will be happy by owning them. You don't need to do this. If you all have 1,000 books and you love every single one, then you don't need to do this. If all of those books bring you joy, you don't need to do this. If you have 4 books, like Read with Cindy, and all 4 of those books bring you joy, you don't need to do this. If you feel overwhelmed by your bookshelves and you are unhappy with the amount of books that you have because you feel like maybe if I had less of these, I could buy more that make me happy, or I don't have any space for new books, so I'm not going to buy new books. And if buying books makes you happy, you're preventing yourself from doing something you enjoy. Then you might want to try Marie Kondo's method of tidying up, where you get rid of some books or clothes or personal items, kimono, whatever, and make room in your life for things that make you happy. This has been a super long video. I'm very sure of it because it was super long to film. And I hope that you enjoyed watching this video, and I hope that it maybe makes you feel a little bit better every time you get rid of a book, or if you feel like you want to tidy up your own bookshelves. I hope it helps you feel motivated to actually do that, because while this was a really intense thing for me to do, I feel like I made some progress here. I'm getting rid of some books that no longer bring me joy or that I have no interest in, and that opens up a world of opportunities for me to buy new books or just to have a less overwhelming amount of books in my tiny apartment. Leave a comment down below if you've read Marie Kondo's book or watched the TV series and tidying up is something that you've wanted to try, and watching me do it makes you want to try it. If you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you are new and you want to see more bookish content from me, please subscribe. This has been Blair from the Blair Book Project, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. I love all your faces. Goodbye.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
Here are all of the books that I'm keeping. So I have quite a pile left of books, and these are all the books that I'm getting rid of or donating or gifting to somebody else. It's been a day, guys. It has been a day.